guys, I'm Kent and welcome back to my channel. So Yuminashi, who's been a big supporter of my channel, recently sent me a whole bunch of products, both for my 2022 Grom as well as my 2019 Monkey. And today I thought I would do the installs for the fourth crankshaft bearing that they make, both for the 22 Grom, the 2019 Monkey, as well as the SF and OG Honda Groms. They are different. There's three different ones. The OG, the SF, I think the SF is the same as the Monkey, and then the 2022 and up Honda Grom and Monkey. Again, check on their website for the different part numbers. But so they sent me two different products with different part numbers for the 2019 Monkey and the 22 Grom. I'm actually going to be doing the install on the 22 Grom today though. And this is an install that's long overdue for me. So both on the Monkey and the Grom, once I went big bore and some of the other engine modifications, at a certain RPM on this bike, it's like right around 9,000 RPM, the engine gets really buzzy. And on these metal rear sets that I have, to the point that if I stay at that RPM, it kind of buzzes my feet off of the pegs. So the idea with this modification is that on the stator side, at the end of the crankshaft, where the crankshaft is just kind of hanging out, this is an additional bearing to help stabilize that and hopefully get rid of those vibrations. Installation is really easy. Just pull off the stator cover, insert the bearing, the support, and there's this custom nut that goes on the end of the crankshaft to sit inside the bearing, and that should be it. It's not an oily mess on this side. I don't believe there's even a gasket on this side. On my bike, I have to take off a couple of other things because I've got these the slider set that's supported against the housing here, but all of that should be pretty straightforward. So let me go ahead and get the stator cover off, get the bearing installed, get it put together, and see if it helps with my buzzing problem at some of those higher RPMs. All right, so I guess it is a little oily. Shit. Okay, so lesson learned, and in hindsight, it makes sense. I removed the cowling because, fortunately, actually, the cowling captured most of the oil, so I'm draining that out now. Let me clean up all of this mess, but make sure that you drain the oil first and be prepared for any extra oil to leak out. So let me clean up and then get the stator housing off so that we can get the bearing installed. Okay, everything is cleaned up. I was thinking about refilming that segment and explaining that you need to take the oil out first, but I thought it's probably better to show some humility and the fact that sometimes I'm an idiot and help everybody else learn from my mistakes. So again, make sure that you drain your oil before you attempt this. There is a gasket that runs on the outside of the stator cover. The gasket looks pretty good, and I don't have another gasket on hand, so I'm going to try to get away with just reusing this gasket. It's not that old, it's about a year old, and again, it looks pretty clean, so we'll see how it does, and if it needs to be replaced, I will replace it if it leaks. So to unplug the stator wires, I'm going to take off the triangle here, and I think it'll just unclip. Then we'll get this on the bench and the bearing installed. Okay, stator off. Let's go to the bench. Okay, and again, since this is for the 22 Grom, here's the part number for the one that I'm running. It says Grom 125RR and Monkey 125-21+. So there are these three M6 bolts with an 8mm head that I'm going to zip out real quick. And then we open up the package. So inside are some replacement bolts. It looks like they are just a little bit longer than the stock ones because they're going to go through the bracket. And then a bearing, the nut, and the retaining clip. So here's the bearing. It's supposed to just set in like that. Then this retaining clip, it has indentations on the underside to capture the edge of the bearing. The Yuminashi logo is what needs to be facing up. Looks like that's the orientation. The kit also comes with another washer. I believe this is a washer for the nut that goes through the bearing and onto the crankshaft. So I'm going to get these lightly started, and then I'm going to torque them down to 7 foot-pounds. Alexa, convert 7 foot-pounds to inch-pounds.
7 foot-pounds force is about 84 inch-pounds force.
So back on this side, we need to remove the nut here on the shaft. It's a 17 millimeter. It's supposed to get torqued down to 47 foot-pounds, so I don't know if my electric wrench here is going to get it off or not. It does. Nice. Okay, so old nut off, old washer off. This seems just to be a regular flat washer, not conical, so I will use the new washer that came with the kit. The two washers seem to be pretty much identical. And then torque down to 47 foot-pounds. 47 is actually pretty high. I have the bike in gear. I don't know if that's going to hold it or not. Guess it does. All right, and that should be the extent of the installation. Now it's just a matter of putting everything back together. Again, you should use a new gasket on this. I don't have one, so going to hope to see if it holds. Actually, I said it's a year old. I've had this bike probably for 2 years now or longer. But the gasket looks clean. I'm gonna lightly wipe off some of this oil and see if it holds. I'll also run it without my cowl for a while to make sure that I'm not getting any leaks. Let's button it back up. All right, looks good. I also took the sight window off here. I've got these cool ones from the Speed Shop. You can see here that you still have access to it so that you can use that 14 millimeter wrench when you're trying to time the engine for work that you're doing on the head. So let me get these all buttoned up. I'm gonna do 9 foot-pounds for all of those M6 bolts that go around, and we'll take it for a ride. Okay, almost all buttoned up, and something else that I want to make sure that I remind everybody that you need to put more oil back in your engine. In my case, it spilled all over the floor. In your case, hopefully you drained it first, but make sure you get the right amount of oil in before you try this out.
All right, so anyway, the pegs are significantly less buzzy right here at 9,000 RPM. Before, I couldn't even keep them on my feet, but I mean, obviously there's still some vibration, but not nearly as bad as it was. So for an install that's as inexpensive and as easy to install, again, making sure that you take your oil out first, definitely a modification worth its while. And I'm gonna add it to my list of things that you must do if you're installing the big bore kit. So anyway, big thank you to Yuminashi for setting me up with this fourth bearing install for the 22 Grom. When I get back to my house, I'm going to install the same for the 2019 Monkey. Anyway, I'll link in the description below to these products. Thank you everybody very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and keep on building.